Day 4. This is the day where we take a deep dive into zirconia, the full process, starting from where ExoCAD left off, right into hyperdent and milling. The strategy we use for milling, usually we can mill in about an hour and 20 minutes per arch. And then there's some green state modifications that we do. Then we place the zirconia inside of the sintering oven. Most sintering takes 12, 13 hours. But I have a process where we can get that down to about 4.5 to 5 hours and still keep everything strong. Once we're done through the sintering, then we take it over into the porcelain, which you see behind me. We have 2 ovens and we take it through a couple bakes. If time is tight, we'll do it in 1 bake. The nice thing is that you paint for about 15, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, put it in the oven for an hour while you're seeing patients or doing something else. And then you come back, take a look at it, see if you want to add a little something here and there. But the thing about zirconia is that it actually is much more simple than what you've been told. So we're going to talk about a couple of things that I think are critical. One is neo versus soprano. What's the advantages to each? We'll talk about if you need to do multiple bakes and what patients you want to do multiple bakes on. We'll talk about the different types of zirconia, their thickness, and where we have this like seesaw connection between strength and beauty, and what types of materials I've used in the past and what I recommend. The one beautiful thing about doing this process in 24 to 48 hours is that you give the patient 1 device. This doesn't make the patient upset. Actually, they're very, very happy that they don't have to have another device made. And yes, sometimes we do have to make modifications on the zirconia after the patient's healed. But unlike maybe what you've been told is that how difficult it is, this is actually very simple, very easy. And usually it's only on the lower. I'll show you a technique in surgery that allows the tissue to lay right against the bone and have less of a fallback after it's healed. There's a discussion that we're going to have about some of the people you want to avoid zirconia on, AKA people that are severe grinders. Now, I'm not saying that you don't put zirconia on patients with grinders because it seems like that would be the most logical one. But you have to know there are some limitations with this. And going back to that conversation we had in the previous day, there's one connection that you should be using if people are grinding their teeth and you want to give them zirconia. We'll end this day by taking an inventory of what you currently have in your office and what equipment you might want to switch out, what equipment's worth buying. And if you are wanting to design an office like mine where everything's all in one process, I'll show you how I would set it up, the space requirements you need. And I'll tell you all the mistakes I made throughout this process so that you're able to cut all the costs and all the mistakes and be able to go directly to the most efficient lab setup there is.